Gen V is a show on Amazon Prime. It's a spin-off of the popular show The Boys. The Boys is a superhero show, basically about if superheroes were real in a contemporary American setting and how it would interact with things like technology, the law, prisons, government, stuff like that. And then it goes into interpersonal conflicts between like characters and superheroes. The main character, Huey from The Boys, has a grudge that starts from his girlfriend being murdered by a superhero while that superhero is trying to save people. And so he joins like this mercenary group that is purposely like trying to fight against Vought, which is a mega corporation that seems to own a lot of like American media, and the superheroes. And the show sort of keeps going in that direction, and it gets a little messy after a while. I thought the most recent season of The Boys was all right, but it's not as good as the first season. And it's at the point where the relationships are deteriorating. And so you find all the characters sort of isolated, more extreme versions of their personalities than when we first see them. And some of them have even shifted out of the personalities that we met them with. Like Starlight is completely different than she was at the beginning of the show, which is fine. It shows character growth. But the relationships between the characters have deteriorated. Now out comes Gen V. And initially I wasn't going to watch Gen V because it looked corny. I understand that young adult shows can be pretty bad when it comes to like American Pie humor. And don't get me wrong, the show has a lot of, not a lot, but it has a decent amount of like American Pie sex humor in it, which is fine. The Boys actually has more of these sexual elements in it, but it's not played for laughs the same way. It's like played to be like disturbing. And I kind of don't like that in The Boys. It makes me like viscerally uncomfortable. But the sex jokes in Gen V, I feel, were lighter. And the whole feeling of the show is a bit lighter. When I watched the first season, I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. But my biggest critique of it would be that it is very ham-fisted in its criticisms of American conservative culture. And The Boys is sort of like that, but it was able to maintain this nuance that kept those types of people coming back every season. And it would be like a whole new wave of like reactionaries would find out that the show is making fun of them and that Homelander isn't a character that is badass or cool. He's actually like a weird freak with a power complex and a narcissist who doesn't really care about anybody. And he's basically a reflection of these people. And in a way, he's sort of supposed to be a analog for Trump. But I think that that's less so than people might give it credit for. I think a lot of people just say he is Trump when it's not really. He's supposed to be like a charismatic authoritarian figure like Trump, and he has some shared aesthetics like the blonde hair and stuff. But when you see that behavior in one person and see it in another person, that doesn't mean they're exactly mirroring each other. It means that they share the same ideology. But back to Gen V. Gen V has this dynamic where it's not adults who are working against the corporation Vought and Soups. It's more about the interpersonal relationships between college students who are Soups, who are forced into this system where they're basically being trained to work for Vought. And I think the show is pretty good. It's pretty good, but it is ham-fisted. It is more in that direction than The Boys is, because you can't really watch the show without getting what they're doing. You can't watch it for a moment without getting what they're doing. And pulling it back to season 2, they even do like very on its face, like making fun of conservatives. They do a whole like thing where it's motto saying make America super again. And they have this dynamic where there are starlighters who are supposed to be like Antifa, except obviously starlighters are more organized than Antifa. Then on top of that, we have clashes in the street between these two different militia type groups. It's impossible not to recognize these people as being like right-wing provocateurs. The people that Starlight ends up beating up. No, not Starlight. Where Marie Moreau beats up this group of guys. They're obviously supposed to be like yeehaw conservatives. And because of that, the result of the show being so in your face against conservatives is the result that it's getting pretty shitty reviews, even though it's comparable in quality to The Boys. I like the characters. Honestly, I like the characters more than The Boys. Huey gets on my nerves. Mother's Milk gets on my nerves. Butcher gets on my nerves. Starlight gets on my nerves. They killed Victoria, but she got on my nerves too. I like most of the characters in Gen V as opposed to The Boys, even if the story's a little messier. Even the bad guys are cooler. Like, I think Cypher is way better of a watch than watching Homelander. I mean, you get this visceral, disturbing feeling when watching Homelander. You're always wondering what he's going to do next. But with Cypher, it's like I can actually like sit with the character and enjoy the way he interacts with people. He's very like condescending and very calculating, and there's a big twist in the season that I kind of predicted immediately, and I'm not going to reveal that, but it's pretty obvious. I feel like every bit of the story is pretty obvious, maybe because it's being marketed towards younger people, but it's definitely less nuanced than The Boys is, and as a result of that, it has poor reviews. It's sitting at about 50% on IMDb every episode of this last season, and obviously it's because conservatives are brigading it and giving it poor reviews, because the show is fine. It's good. The plot is good. It works well with the story from The Boys, and the characters are more likable. So watch it. Watch Gen V. See if you disagree with me or not.